Peace and blessings. Welcome to Team Angie. Team member Aaron Glenn, private personal consultant, also advocate for mental health awareness as well. Happy Thursday. One day away before the big break. Friday, I guess. Thank God it's Friday, huh? Nevertheless, I'm here to put positive vibes in your timeline, whether you're watching me on your TV screen, your tablet, your mobile device. I appreciate you for tuning in. What I like to do is put positive vibes out into the universe by reading from my inspirational book, Daily Motivation by Sarah Young. Jesus calling. Enjoying peace in his presence. Today's reading is from the book, Enjoying Peace in His Presence by Sarah Young. Jesus calling. Today is August 28th, 2025. And this is today's reading for you all. Grow strong in the light of my presence. As my face shines upon you, you receive nutrients that enhance your growth and grace. I design you to commune with me face to face, and this interaction strengthens your soul. Such communion provides a tiny glimpse of what awaits you in heaven, where all barriers between you and my glory are removed and will be removed. This meditative time with me blesses you doubly. You experience my presence here and now, and you are refreshed by the hope of heaven, where you will know me in ecstatic joy. Ecstatic joy. I said exotic. Where you will know me in ecstatic joy. Ecstatic. So I use the word ecstatic a lot. I never really seen it written down. I never really read it, but it's my first time seeing it and reading it. It's not my first time hearing it or saying it. Ecstatic is another form of joy, high expression of joy. And this reading comes from the book of Psalms, chapter 4, verses 6 through 8. Also, Revelations, chapter 21, verse 23. Enjoying the peace of the Lord, being in His presence. It's pretty dope and interesting. You know, you be around certain people, certain places, they either drain you or they fill you up. Pretty sure we all have experienced that reality at one point in time in our lives. Um, it is what it is, right? You know, some people bring out the best and some people bring out the worst. But nevertheless, we have somebody that desires to see us at our best always and desires to help us out. You know, when we meet opposition and challenges arise, we don't have to fight those battles. And the way that we fight those battles is by giving them unto the Lord, for He is the fighter of our battles, waiting and willing to take care of our needs and fight our battles for us. Getting closer to God is fighting your battles. What I want to share with you all is some motivation on how to deal with people, how to engage with people, and a little bit of, let's say, motivation for mental health and, you know, how to deal and engage with people. This here is a few tips and steps on how to engage, basically. It's an article I read and want to share with you all. Kind of wraps up what I'm about, who I am, actually, and what Team Angie is about. It's not that long, but it's pretty interesting, nevertheless. The How of Human Connection. Marina Pogosian. Other people matter for our well being, success, and even survival. So these are key points in this article. People are more interested in engaging with you than you might imagine. Don't be aloft. Be accessible, be approachable, but don't be overextending yourself, you know. Protect your peace, protect your energy. Connection is built on reciproc reciprocity. I just heard this word, but can't really pronounce it, to be honest. So what I'm gonna do right here is, well, hold on, let me just go back. Uh, Reciprocity. So here it is. This is how you say it.
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. Okay. Reciprocity. The practice of exchanging things with others for mutual benefit, especially privileges granted by one country or organization to another. Reciprocity.
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. Okay. Reciprocity. Basically, when you give without expectation, you give because it's a good thing to do and because you want to evolve that situation or enhance it, basically. Reciprocity. Focus on the frequency rather than intensity of positive interactions. The frequency. Reciprocity is a frequency of giving rather than the intensity of positive interactions. Like, oh, I did this, I need praise. That's the intensity. That's not reciprocity. That's given because you need some intensity, some emotional frequency back. You know what I'm saying? It's an exchange. It's not just because of a good thing you're doing. We'll get more into that in a bit. So, 2 decades ago, psychologist Christopher Peterson claimed that the emerges, emerging field of positive psychology could be summarized in 3 words: other people matter. These words could just as well summarize not only centuries of scholarships and wisdom, but also our everyday experience. Other people matter for our well being, success, and survival. Even our own self esteem can serve as an interpersonal monitor, shaped by how connected we feel to others. While research continues to highlight social connection as a key contributor to health and happiness, questions remain about how of connection, about the how of connection. For example, what creates that covered sense of connection? What's the best way to connect to ensure the most benefits? How do we reconcile waiting to connect with the fear of getting hurt? Those are deep questions when it comes to connections, connecting with people, places, or things. University of Chicago psychologist Nick Epley investigate these things and other mysteries of social connection. Yes, everyone experiences social pain. He agrees. And yes, connection also carries some risks. But among his crucial findings is that we consistently overestimate how big that risk is. In fact, when we do reach out, people tend to respond much more positively to us than we imagine. Examining over 20,000 data points on the mechanism of society has empowered Nick Empley, the Chicago psychologist from the University of Chicago, the psychologist Nick Empley, to put his findings into practice and regularly reap the far-reaching rewards of connection, whether with strangers on the train or with close, closest relations, with his closest relations. As for what lies beneath that warm feeling of connection is trust. Trust means believing that somebody cares about you and has your best interests in mind. Here, Epley with 6 insights on connection. And Epley is the psychologist from the University of Chicago who done this research and put this 6 points of communication, of connection together. The person who wrote the article isn't him, it's Marina Pogosian. She got her PhD. She wrote the article about the guy who did the research, which is Nick Epley. People are more interested in engaging with you than you might imagine. We tend to be overly pessimistic about how positively others will respond when we reach out to them. According to Epley, this stems largely from misunderstanding other people and is particularly acute with strangers. Whenever a belief keeps us from acting, we miss out on the data from experience that could confirm or disprove it. If we even if we're even a little nervous about how others will respond, we don't reach out. And so we never learn that the belief is mistaken. He explains. That's pretty interesting. Whenever we Whenever a belief keeps us from acting, we miss out on the data from experience that could confirm or disprove it. taking action. People want to make money online, scared to take action. People want a boyfriend, a girlfriend, scared to take action. People want advancement in careers, scared to take action. People want a new life, new situation, but afraid to take action. What that does is not only take away from your experiences, but it takes away from your perspective. Also, it keeps you stagnant. Missing out on taking action gives you a forced reality. Once you give yourself a chance by taking action, you get the experience to disprove or confirm whatever your experience, your belief about the situation was. Like digital marketing, I don't know what to believe about it, but from taking action, I had experience. My perspective of the whole thing continuously changes the more and more I take action. So it's like, I can hear people's beliefs, but it doesn't align with my experience. So my experience is what basically confirm or disprove what they believe to be true from what I'm hearing, what people tell me, besides on what I know to be true from my experiences and my actions. So that's a really good thing, like you can hear people tell you different stories and this and that or whatever. It might sound good, but when you can't source from anything, you really don't have any proof. And therefore, you're taking action or you're not taking action depending on someone else's belief, that can hold you back and hold you up. A lot of people express their beliefs, but they don't really express their experience. You will learn the difference, learn how to differentiate. You can discern tell the difference between the two. I can't even get the word out. I ain't gonna try anymore. But taking action is a big step to molding, cultivating connections. Here's more good news. It may be true that others aren't paying nearly as much attention to as we are imagine, the spotlight effect. But it's often because they are focused on other things, mostly themselves, not because they don't care about us. When others are paying attention to us, they usually don't judge us as negatively as we fear, says Epley. In fact, people often underestimate how much others will like them after a conversation. The liking gap. These are separate articles you can read about more detail in depth on what the spotlight effect is about and the liking gap is about. I'll share this article in description after I'm done. Connection is built on reciprocity. Do not underestimate the power of reciprocity. A social interaction is an exchange with dynamic features, explains Epley. It goes back and forth. In fact, what makes social interaction a positive experience is the interaction itself. In conversation, people like you not just for what you say, but people like you for what you do. Your facial expressions, nodding, smiling, showing you understand, he said. These paralystic, paralinguistic cues create affirmation, responsiveness, and ultimately connection. So that was a tongue twister spitter outer, like the paralinguistic. Never heard of that word. I'm not even sure what the fuck it means, but I'm gonna look it up really quick. I'm not gonna carry on if I'm not understanding what I'm being, like I ain't gonna act like relating to or hold on. All right, so this is the word I'm trying to read and figure out what it means. Relating to or denoting paralanguage or the non-lexical elements of communication by speech. I still don't even know what that means. Paralinguistic meaning refers to nonverbal elements of communication that accompany spoken words, adding nuance and conveying emotions or attitudes beyond the literal meaning of the words themselves. All right, I get it. I get it. So basically, what they're saying is paralinguistic is I say something funny, you don't laugh, but you like. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't that funny. You nodding off, speaking without speaking in expressions that are understood. Cues create affirmation, responsiveness, and ultimately connection. These unspoken cues, but they could have said that, but paralinguistic is a new word, I guess, a better way to put it. That's why I like reading as well because I learn a lot of different words and I don't just run past them acting like I know what I'm reading. I actually look up these words and figure out if it makes sense to what I'm reading and how can I use it if I decide to later on. Reciprocity. I heard this word weeks ago with a mindset class that I took. Well, mentoring. We meet twice a week, so for mindset and tech, I get help from time to time with the tech, but basically I don't. I do, I don't. I figure this shit out. It ain't really. I need help with that much as far as other things that I need help with. Need help with mindset. It's always something. So I take the mindset calls, Zoom calls, the meetups or whatever, right? Mentoring. And I don't even want to slaughter her name. I believe her name is Ashley. My apologies. I ain't gonna even say what your name is. It's crazy, You want to give respect and appreciation where it's due. Give people their flowers, give them their appreciation, let them know that they're doing something positive and enlightening and something that's useful for the world. Helping the mind, just like these teachers of the world. They're doing a honorable thing. Being able to be coachable, to learn, and then also sharing that knowledge is an honorable thing. Big ups to the teachers as well. And this is a teacher of mine that, taught me about reciprocity. The way that she broke it down, I really knew what it meant back then, but I really didn't know how to pronounce it. I've seen it a few other times since then, but it was an enlightening moment. And the way that she broke it down, it really made a lot of sense on how to use it and how it's present in your daily life if you're one of those type of people who practice awareness. If you're conscious enough to, how be aware of how you engaging with people, how you place yourself in certain situations or whatever, right? Especially when you're doing stuff with intent. That's what this is mainly about. A lot of people don't reach out, they don't take actions because they're not aware, they're not sure what people's intentions is. And what this was saying was the spotlight effect, the linking gap. These things goes with that misunderstanding. People being hurt, not knowing what people's intentions is, not really wanting to, be hurt again, which is totally understandable. But yeah, these words I don't just skip past them because I could read it. I need to know what it means, and I need to have a meaning in my life if I'm going to carry on with the article. If it's something that's going to help me, be able to help others. When I read it, I was like, wow, this breaks down society. The video I played before this was about the perfection of a slave, and what that means was consumerism. And I'll explain how and why this talks about the perfection of the slave. So society at one point in time was appreciative of the workers. The workers had unions. They basically made the positive changes for the community. They're bringing in the money. They have the resources. They have programs and products, services. You had the mailman, the garbage man, the farmers, the plumbers, electricians, those workers, right? These are the people I'm talking about. It was a emphasis on making sure that they're straight, they have the benefits they need. This job can last them years and years and years. Average CEO was making $1 million a year, maybe a little bit more. The workers was straight. Everything was cool. The problem with the workers being a focal point of society is that everybody's on an even playing field. If I'm a boss, you a boss, it's cool. But if I'm the type of boss that's greedy and I want more power than what I feel I should have, now here comes the chess games. It's time to start strategizing and taking out other bosses. And this is what eventually happened. People link up, connections, mindsets. These certain bosses with that same mindset, they linked up together and they decided we're going to change what the community should focus on. It's not about the working man anymore. It's about lower prices, better goods, which means consumerism. Now you can afford to spend all your money on goods that are lower priced. And what that did was it created this egotistic society of where we're all consumers. Are you good? So now it's about what you're going to buy, what you're going to post up, and it creates this competitive nature. So that's what consumerism did with the society of today. It's no longer about the working people who makes the money. It's about making the money to spend the money. And what that does is it keeps the people in power, the CEOs, the ones who linked up together. And it may seem like they're in competition with each other, but they're not. The ones who own the farms, the ones who own these factories, as far as like the automobile industry, the oil industry, and also the boats and stuff in the airplane, the travel. Basically, it's just a Department of Transportation. They flying out goods, they selling out goods, and they're driving goods. These are a lot of different industries, but nevertheless, when you hear names like BlackRock, you find out they got their hands in majority of these industries, and majority of these owners are their conglomerates, business partners, associates, people they connect with, and they'll play it and spin it to where it's like, okay, we're competing with each other as far as we got the better goods or we got the better services, but at the end of the day, it's just to keep you in that mindset, like, let's go purchase here, let's go purchase there. Social media, let's take all the pictures, let's live the best, let's show what we got, let's showboat. Nowadays education isn't about being creative, critical thinking. It isn't about higher elevation. It's more about learning to make money to spend with these companies. What job's going to pay you the most so that you can spend the most? You feel me? And that there is what also brought about toxic toxic relations and stuff like that. You don't look at somebody for what their mind is. If we all had no clothes, nobody would be one deal with nobody, because it's like, I don't know how much money you got. I don't know how much you're worth. I don't know how to figure out your worth because I'm not seeing the physical products that can give me a determination on what you're worth. You feel me? If I don't see you with Louis Gucci, I don't feel like you're worth much. If I see you with a regular Walmart belt or some K Swiss shoes or whatever, right? That's how people determine your value because of consumerism. Also, it determines if people want to deal with you as far as a social setting, because you're either somebody of wealth or somebody who's not. These affect interactions as well, when you focus on these things. But at the end of the day, it's like the mind is not conditioned to be a consumer without even ever questioning it. The way to take yourself out of this slave mindset is to appreciate your daily bread. You got somewhere to sleep, you got something to eat, you got clothes to wear, you straight. That's what you need for the day. Now, as far as what you want, that's totally different. You might not always get what you want when you want it, but you'll always have what you need. God provides for the sinners just like he does for the saints. So at that point, there's no difference between who has and who has not. It's about reciprocity. I can't even get the word out. Reciprocity. You're doing it because you see someone in need. It's a fair exchange. It's not because I see what kind of value that you might have. So I want to help you because I know that I'm going to get something from you back type situation. That's not reciprocity. That's not the love of Christ. It's not what we're designed to do, but nevertheless, it's what we have been conditioned to be. Um, we shouldn't be suing each other. A lot of these things are in the Bible. We go against the grain more than we even realize and know. Awareness is a big key in life, and what you're going to experience in life. What comes with certain things, it is what it is. It's the laws of the universe. You throw something up, it's going to come down. The majority rules. It's a lot of different universal laws that I can explain to you, but nevertheless, they're without a doubt in effect, full effect, and there's no way around them. So you can cheat people by, manipulating their free will, just like how you see. I just brought up the word consumerism. It's a way to manipulate free will to have everybody focus on materialistic things, chasing these things, doing whatever it takes to get these things while losing themselves all at the same time, never really fulfilled, never really satisfied. Full fulfillment comes from knowing Christ and getting the time to spend with Christ, getting to know Christ. He will add all these things unto us. He knows what we need, right? So why even worry about it? Why even put yourself in position to be chasing after these vain things? Uh, when we die, you can't take none of this with us. You will have no type of knowledge on anything that really matters to get you through the next lifetime, through the spiritual realm. Because in the spirit realm, they're not worried about money. They're not worried about houses. They're not worried about these little simple things that consumes our whole energy and time that we chase after. But nevertheless, to each his own. You do as you desire. We all have 24 hours a day to experience what it is we desire to experience. Focus on the frequency rather than the intensity of positive interactions. Feeling is a really telltale sign. You feel like you're in competition with people. You're in the wrong lane. Feelings don't lie. Intuition doesn't lie. If you can't hear that voice inside, you need to really spend time with yourself because you're already disconnected with yourself. It's the frequency of positive emotions rather than their intensity that determines our well-being. Even little social interactions, a smile, a compliment, a kind act can nurture happiness. A good marriage, for example, fosters sustainable well-being because it provides many small positive moments every day. Happiness is often compared to a leaky tire. Something good happens and the tire fills up, then it slowly drains down. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean live life on a flat tire, says Epley. It means keep pumping it up. Treat society like a habit. Something you do routinely whenever you have the chance. Sprinkle in it. That's why I always say the pursuit of happiness, is something you can obtain if you desire to do so. But it comes and goes. Everything in life is about balance. Whether you want to look at it that way or not, this is what life is. It's good, it's bad, it's up, it's down, it's all these things at the same time. It'd be foolish to really believe that you're going to be in one state for eternity. That's what the spiritual battle is all about, trying to keep it balanced until it's all done. So it can be separated where if you want to be on bullshit, you can be over here with that. If you want to be on righteousness, you can be over here with that. That's why God created a heaven and a hell, because we're all mixed up. And it is what it is, right? It's like this. You got a plan. You don't really think about what can go wrong, what might infiltrate your plan, or what might disturb it, right? You plan to create a school to educate kids so the community can have resources and a higher mindset so they can elevate themselves to Be equipped for when the times change, as far as financial, uh, whatever. Right nowadays, we dealing with contaminated water. Make sure y'all be cool too when y'all going out to the beaches. Don't let the water get up your nose. I hear it's a new it's some virus going on where it's a 80% totality, over 80% totality of somebody. I don't know if this stuff real or not, but I highly doubt it. It's 2025. Anything can happen, and that's always throughout life. More so this year alone. You want to expect the unexpected, like aliens, fucking dinosaurs probably come walk around. You might see Dracula come down. Who knows? But I wouldn't doubt that this stuff was going on. Last night I seen a lot of stars in the skies. I seen them doing the trails. I ain't know they even do it at nighttime. They got the streaks going out. Today it's cloudy like I'm on. It's forest clouds. I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? It rained like thunderstorm for about 2 minutes. Poured down real bad. But I said all that to say this. Things are definitely strange and anything can happen. So to be aware is to be alive. Being aware is being alive. That's all I can really say. Like I don't doubt anything, but I do watch news so that I can be aware, not to fear monger. Because with Christ, I'm more than a conqueror. There's nothing to be afraid of, nothing to fear. We all have our death date, but you all want to be leaving a legacy in the meantime. If you're afraid to die, it's because you're not living enough. And it is what it is, right? You know, it's just about being conscious, being intentional, living on purpose, not just waking up because you're blessed to have a 24 hours and it's just whoop de woo, fulfill these hours or whatever come by. No. Just like Jesus, he had a mission, and that mission was to be completed. Every day of his life, he woke up on that mission trying to complete it. Same way as Martin Luther King. Now, these people I'm talking about, whether you believe in them or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We all human, right? You might see some stuff about a person you don't like, and that might be your personal view of that person. The same as with somebody else. They might see some stuff of this person they like, and that's their view of that person. So fuck it what? You get to know people you like or what you don't like about them, whatever. But the fact remains is that things that he done with his life, no matter if you like them or not, left a legacy behind, made real changes. It's a lot of stuff that we could talk about that they did on the sideline, but I don't care about that. I'm not here to judge nobody. I'm just here to give these people their flowers for the way that they live their life, and this is a conscious thing you choose to do day in and day out. Discipline to live a certain lifestyle. Because it says in the Bible, you'll fall 7 times, but you can get up again, because on this daily walk, you're going to stumble. You're not going to be baptized Christian and just live flawless life. No, it's not it. It's not reality. That's why these things are here to warn you time and time again, because it's a constant battle of the mind. Even in this simple article about how to connect with people, time and time again, you see me stumble upon a few words that basically says, we don't have friends, we don't connect because we're scared in the mind first that these people might reject us. They might not have the best intentions. Or let me go back to a pinpoint where they were saying they might not be paying attention to us because they're really thinking about themselves, which isn't negative. You can go over this and check it out. A lot of stuff starts with the mind, though. Uh, excuse me. It's pretty dope, man. I done went through a lot of stuff, plus my own little 2 cents in it. Because these are my experiences with people and with life. It is what it is. A reason why I don't reach out to everybody or fuck with everybody. But it's about even exchange. Besides reciprocity, it's about being equally yoked. I'm not trying to save the world. Reach one, teach one, leave none behind. What I do is hopefully to reach somebody. If not, whatever, right? I'm not going to force it out there. it is what it is. I do my work. I let it be what it be. You find it good, great. You use it, even better. My mission is completed. Put out some information to help guide somebody in a better way, a better path. That's my purpose in life and why I do what I do. I don't care if nobody ever see this, but eventually it's going to do what it's supposed to do. I'm not really worried about like what's don't matter about what I'm doing, because for this to be fruitful, I had to be putting in the energy for it. And that's what my intentions is on why I'm doing this. I'm putting this article out there. People who are aloft, or who suffer in silence, or who just stuck in their minds on how to connect with people and don't know how to connect with people. Or so stuck in the mind that these things you battle each day on why you should or why you should not. A clear reason on why you should is because it can either confirm or deny that belief in your mind. And that's really, really important. When you decide not to take action, you decide not to have an experience. You decide not to have a perspective on those uh, beliefs. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but when you have an experience that goes against what you believe, you now not sure if you believe this thing, and now you're starting to look at life different. And if you decide to, you would do more research until you get the clarity that you're seeking or that has been exposed. And it is what it is, right? When things don't add up, you subtract. If not, you're going to keep adding it to something that's taken away from your overall being. You're going to fuck around, find out like, all right, I'm losing out on this. I need to readjust, redirect my energy, time, and attention. But don't add, it definitely takes away. When considering how you connected, when considering how connected you feel to someone, ask yourself, how close do they feel to me in physical space? Researchers sometimes represent the concept of connection as the illusion of the other in itself. To illustrate this, they would use two circles that could be far apart, close together, or even overlapping. Depending on the level of connection, spouses, for example, may feel so integrated that they forget where one ends and the other begins, and use the word we more often than I. Even strangers, explains can feel either very distant or very close. Your personality matters more for your expectations than your actual experience. Personality traits are more strongly related to people's expectations, habits, and choices than to their actual experiences and interactions. Introverts believe they will feel more tired or enjoy an interaction less than extroverts do. Yet, when they are actually in an interaction, they'll either underestimate how much they enjoy it, like extroverts do, or sometimes even more. Often, what we think of an experience is just our belief of expectations, beliefs and expectations. It's hard to get that out because this basically wrapped up what I was talking about. Like, beliefs, expectations, who you are as a person, and all this stuff add up. It all intertwines. Your beliefs can become your barrier. Research shows that when asked to imagine talking to a stranger on a train, people predict they'll enjoy it more than keeping to themselves. Yet, the barrier that prevents them from trying is the belief that others don't want to engage. We misjudge others. We assume there are more people who will reject us than there actually are. Moreover, while people expect social rejection to sting more than connecting will please them, Epley argues that if often it's often more their expectation, not the actual experience. Negative emotions, whether from social or non-social pain, often fade faster than positive ones. So holding on to negative thoughts, experiences, they last way longer than the positive ones does. And this can be your reality, and it could be shaping your belief system. That everybody is out to attack you and putting you in that victim mindset, keeping you in that victim mindset. which is a lower vibration. It brings doubt, fear, and constant lack of real connections, lack of real courage, lack of real trust. But anyway, a final tip: there's no magic set of opening lines for starting the most connecting, fostering conversations. Just as long as you got something to add, don't go around just being a fucking bud, talk. Yappity yappity yap. Because then people will reject. But it's their choice. The secret, according to Epley, lies in the mindset, taking a genuine interest in others and paying attention. It's pretty dope. I want to check some of my money making activities real quick. Today is Thursday, and what this means for me is I invest, I stake, I got money put in the savings and the cryptos, and I want to show y'all how they do it. They pay me every Thursday for holding on to ADA coins, which is Cardinal, and Ethereum, which is ETH, I believe. Ethereum, they don't really have so they're telling me right now something else is available. This is my little thing. I be hating like that. It can't really show. It's at the bottom though. It's here we go. It's a little Robin Hood app though. I'm gonna just show y'all. But what I'm using right now is some called what's this thing called? It's a different internet browser. It's like a game browser, low key. GX Corner. I probably can't show y'all. Let me see if you can see it on here. Okay, yeah. So this is what the browser looks like. It's pretty dope. They got a little game stuff on the side or whatever. Let me see if I can show y'all. Probably can't really see it. I'll share my shit one day. I like using this because the internet browser fast. They don't have that buffering and all of that. The layout is totally different. It's kind of hard to get used to looking at it like this, but it's decent. It's dope. But as far as like what's this other one? Microsoft Edge. That's another browser I use, or Chrome, Windows Chrome. I like Microsoft Edge. It's decent. They do certain little things out. That's usually what I use, Microsoft Edge. But this gaming thing is way better. It's dope. Opera. It's Opera. So when I'm doing little stuff, learning little stuff, they be recommending different little stuff to use. For whatever reason, I was trying to do something and they recommended this. I'm like, well, whatever, right? I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna try to navigate through it and see how it works, and I like it. Just like with Restream, what I've been streaming on lately, it's dope. And the whole reason that came was because I was trying to automate my business. Before I even got on this, I was going to do Zoom, but like every service and product, every product, you want you to, pay for these services, and we all trying to make money at the end of the day. So it's like, how much is we gonna gross? How much can we give away for free? How much can we, utilize before we have to switch stuff up? And I understand that it is what it is. You just got to make sure when you start these situations that you already got a plan in motion and that you tackling that goal and getting it done, not wasting time. Because once you do that, you're gonna figure out how to use the service about that time, and around that time, it's a wrap. You're gonna have to start paying for certain stuff. And that's what it is. Like I've been using like the free trial. I'm just running it up low key, trying to do what I can. Some days I don't feel like doing too much, but those be the days I force myself and I push myself, and then I end up wasting good opportunities to put out better projects. But it is what it is, right? It's part of my catalog. It's constantly growing, and it's more so about quality over quantity. And I'm working on bettering my quality, but the quantity is out there. I got a lot of stuff, a lot of art, a lot of videos. Just been running it up. And it's something I enjoy. It ain't nothing I'm doing because I have to or because I'm trying to be better than nobody or compete with nobody. This is me. And it's what makes me happy. It's my pursuit of happiness. But I'm gonna do another one back on my restream because I could, well, not on my restream. Yeah, probably on here on my restream because what I got to do now since I done ran up my free trials, and this is what I do, what I've been doing, what I'm getting back to doing now. Go live on Facebook, download that video, edit it on my little clip champ thing. I mean Microsoft Clip Champ. Yeah, Clip Champ. I had it right. Put the titles in. Basically, I just edit it, make it how I like it. It don't look like a regular live video. Then I put it on YouTube, and from YouTube, I share it to other little platforms like that. Um, it's all right, you know. It take a long time to do it. That's why I haven't been doing it like that. But things happen, you know. It's come to a point where I got to get back to doing it like that until things change again. You know, it is what it is. It's about constant adjustments, pivoting from one thing to the next to get the overall result. And what the overall result is to get this information out there, get it on different platforms, you know, because somebody's on Facebook doesn't mean that they have a YouTube or doesn't mean they're on TikTok or Instagram. So yeah, that's what it is. It's digital marketing. Putting myself out there in the digital world on all digital platforms. So this is how I do that. The reason why I'm doing it like this is because I was able to do it all at once without having to, you know, do that tedious task, which I don't like. Really don't like it. But it's business. It's a part of it. What come with this? If you got other ways to do it, let me know. Let's collab and you know what I'm saying, figure it out. Like different people tell me different stuff. Because they want to see me successful and also because they figure different stuff out. They get information from me, I get information from them, and we're just building on each other, you know, helping each other build basically. And I appreciate that. That's the thing about connections and community, you know. You evolve, you level up. Or with the wrong connections, you start losing your sanity, losing finances, losing your health. You start losing in life, period. It's nothing to gain. But I ain't gonna bore you all. Peace and blessings. I'm gonna make this video, wrap it up, and then show y'all as far as if you want to make money online, this is what I do. A lot of people are already doing what they do, but as far as mentorship, the game is sold, not told, you know. Put some skin in the game. Let me know if you're serious about what you say you're serious about. Not gonna walk you through the park, you know, I'll guide you, but ultimately you have to take the action. Or you're gonna continuously live in that mindset that either possible or not possible. You know, you're gonna take away from your own perspective and your own experiences. I've been doing this for just about a year now, digital marketing. Team Angie, running a company is coming on 3 years, September 22nd. And I'm still taking a chance every day. I almost been live for a whole year. Well, this year, if I do it the rest of the year, it'll be 8 months. So out of these 8 months, I say I skipped like 2 or 3 days, which is phenomenal, you know, because I still got 4 more months left. We'll see how it goes. Not really looking forward to the future because this present moment is what counts. I could want the future to look like anything I want it to look like, but in the present moment, if I'm not doing shit to add up to that future, I'm just wasting time talking and just breathing. Like I just read that letter I wrote. Like you know, of course distractions happen. You got all type of stuff going on that's going to be a setback or be some resistance, but nevertheless, it's about consistency. You know, I didn't see it come to fruition yet. That doesn't mean that it isn't coming. I've been in that transitional stage where you know you in a cocoon, you just wrapped up that caterpillar, waiting for that shell to break. It's been kind of like that with me. Um, just trying to endure it. It's not the best place to be, but change happens, and it'll happen on your time and all the time. So in the meantime, it's just about that mindset, knowing that what you've been doing is enough, and that it's time for something different, to embrace the unknown. That's really what it's all about. And I got like less than 60 days to redo this contract and all this and that. It's a lot of work to do. It's intimidating, but nevertheless, it's possible. And I don't know if it's possible or not if I don't. Well, I took action and I failed 2 times, 3 times actually, working on this contract for the ER20 crypto coins that I'm creating for Team Energy, which is a big project of mine. That's a big deal to me. Like a lot of people hopping in this new wave. Kanye dropped some coins. I'm not sure who all else did, but hey, it's just I feel like I'm in the right direction with this, and I'm gonna continue on until their reality is my experience. But nevertheless, if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe and join my exclusive community.